There's a strange illusion that many people live under, and that illusion is someday. Someday, they say, I'll start saving. Someday, I'll get serious about my health. Someday, I'll start that business. Someday, I'll write the book. Someday becomes the great thief of time, silently stealing years from lives. But here's the truth: there is no someday on the calendar. It's Monday, it's Tuesday, it's Wednesday. But there's no day called someday. It doesn't exist. Your future is not something that magically happens. It's not a lottery ticket. It's not luck. It's built. And the raw materials are found in what you choose to do with your time each and every day. The actions you take today are the building blocks of the future you will either enjoy or regret. If you want a stronger future, then you must strengthen your days, because the secret to your future is hidden in your daily routine. Some people think the big breakthrough is going to come in one huge moment, one big opportunity, one big conversation, one big check. But that's rarely how it works. Real success is boring to watch because it looks like someone quietly showing up, doing the work, improving a little every day while no one is clapping. Real growth is invisible while it's happening, but impossible to ignore when the results finally show up. And when they do, people will call it overnight success, without realizing the night was 10 years long. It's what you do daily that writes the story of your life, not what you think about, not what you talk about, not what you dream about, but what you actually do. Because intentions don't build futures. Discipline does. Consistency does. Habits do. The world responds to results, not plans. And results are produced by what you do on the days when you don't feel like it, when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when nothing is guaranteed, and yet you keep going. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. That bridge is not crossed in a leap. It's crossed in steps, one foot in front of the other, day after day. The person who wakes up each morning with purpose, who protects their time, who invests in themselves, who reads, who learns, who improves, who keeps promises to themselves, that person is shaping a future that others will envy. Not because they had more talent, not because they had more resources, but because they did more with what they had daily. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. A man doesn't become wise in one weekend seminar. He becomes wise by thinking deeply each day, by reflecting, by reading, by asking questions, by making mistakes and learning from them. A woman doesn't become financially independent by buying one stock. She becomes financially independent by managing her money wisely, by living below her means, by investing regularly, and by refusing to let temporary pleasure rob her of long-term freedom. Every day is a chance to cast a vote for the kind of person you want to become. And the votes are not cast in speeches, they're cast in choices. Do you wake up early or hit snooze? Do you reach for your phone or reach for your goals? Do you let the day happen to you, or do you take charge of it with focus and intention? These small decisions may seem insignificant in the moment, but they are adding up. They are forming patterns. And eventually, those patterns become your identity. Your identity is not fixed. It's not something you're born with. It's something you construct piece by piece through your daily disciplines. If you want to change your life, you don't need a new year. You don't need a crisis. You need a new standard for how you live each day. Raise that standard. Decide what kind of habits you will no longer tolerate. Decide what kind of excellence you will now demand from yourself. And then hold that line every day. You must treat each day like it matters, because it does. There are no throwaway days. There are no meaningless moments. Every day is either taking you closer to the life you want or pulling you further away. And while you cannot control everything about the future, you can control your input. You can control your preparation. You can control your work ethic. You can control your attitude. And if you do those things consistently, day after day, you'll be amazed at the momentum that begins to build. The battle between long-term vision and short-term desire is one of the oldest battles known to man. It's the quiet war fought in your mind every single day. It's the reason why so many dreams die halfway. It's not because people don't know what they want. Most people know. They want financial freedom. They want a healthy body. They want peace of mind. They want fulfilling relationships. They want purpose and impact. But the problem is they want something else too. They want comfort now. They want ease now. They want pleasure now. And often they trade what they want most for what they want now. This trade is never obvious. It doesn't come with a warning label. It comes in the form of small compromises. Choosing the couch over the gym, choosing the impulse buy over the savings goal, choosing the argument over the understanding, choosing the distraction over the discipline. And each time you make that trade, you may not feel it in the moment, but your future is paying the price. Every time you say yes to what's easy, you say no to what's necessary. And the danger of these decisions is that they don't seem dangerous. They're disguised as harmless, but they quietly sabotage your progress. There's a difference between relief and reward. Relief is short-lived. It's immediate. It's the cookie when you're stressed, the binge when you're tired, the scrolling when you're overwhelmed. It feels good for a moment, but it doesn't build anything. Reward, on the other hand, is earned. It's delayed. It's the result of doing the uncomfortable thing over and over. It's not about punishment. It's about understanding the cost of greatness, because anything worth having requires something from you. It asks for your effort, your focus, your patience, your resilience, and above all, your willingness to wait. Waiting isn't passive. It's not sitting back hoping something works out. Waiting is active. It's continuing to work, to show up, to invest, even when there's no sign yet of the reward. It's trusting the process when the results are invisible. It's resisting the urge to settle. It's knowing that every sacrifice is an investment, not a loss. You don't lose anything by passing up temporary comfort if that comfort would cost you your future. Discipline is not about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes to the right things. And when you say yes to your future, you say no to the distractions that try to pull you away from it. The world is full of traps designed to steal your focus. Instant gratification is everywhere. Click this, buy that, watch this, indulge here. The entire system is built to keep you addicted to the now. But if you live only for now, you'll never build a future that excites you. You'll always be surviving the moment, never creating the life you truly desire. What you want most requires you to rise above your impulses. It requires you to have the strength to tell yourself no, not because you don't deserve enjoyment, but because you deserve better. You deserve freedom. You deserve fulfillment. And those things are not found in the fleeting pleasures of the moment. They're found in the compound effect of good decisions made over time. One good decision may not change your life, but 100 will. One sacrifice may not feel like much, but a lifetime of sacrifices in the right direction leads to a future very few get to experience. Most people spend their lives reacting. They wake up and respond to whatever the day throws at them. They give in to whatever temptation is nearest. But the ones who rise, the ones who build something meaningful, they don't live by reaction. They live by intention. They understand that their emotions are not their compass. Their values are. And when your values are clear, your decisions become easier. You start choosing based on who you want to become, not what you feel like doing. It takes maturity to delay gratification. It takes vision to see beyond the current moment. And it takes courage to walk the harder path when everyone else is choosing comfort. But the road of discipline always leads to freedom. And the road of comfort always leads to regret. The question is not what feels good now. The question is what builds good later. The question is whether the action you're taking is bringing you closer to the life you truly want or pulling you away from it. And that question must be answered not once, but over and over every single day in the quiet moments when no one is watching, because that is where the future is truly decided. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself on the path to success is clarity. Without clarity, everything feels uncertain, confusing, overwhelming. You wake up and you're already tired, not because your body is exhausted, but because your mind is clouded. You don't know what to aim at, so you aim at everything. You try to do too much, say yes to too many things, follow too many voices, and before long, your energy is drained. But when clarity enters, everything changes, the noise quiets, the distractions fade. Your movements become sharper, your decisions become quicker, and your confidence grows. not because everything is easy, but because your direction is sure. Clarity is not something that lands in your lap. It's something you cultivate. It's the result of asking the right questions, not once, but again and again. What do I really want? Who am I becoming? What kind of life am I building? What am I willing to sacrifice to have it? These are not surface level questions. They require honesty, reflection, and sometimes uncomfortable truth. But without answering them, you live in reaction. You move based on other people's expectations. You chase goals that don't belong to you. And you wonder why you feel disconnected, unfulfilled, and tired. It's not that you're lazy. It's that your energy is being divided in too many directions that don't align with your true purpose. The moment you gain clarity, you begin to walk differently. You don't say yes to everything anymore, because now you know that every yes is a no to something else. You stop chasing after approval because you know where you're going, and the opinions of the crowd no longer matter. You stop comparing your pace to others because you've defined your own race. Confidence is not found in being better than someone else. It's found in being certain about who you are and where you're going. A confused mind always hesitates. It questions everything, second guesses decisions, and fears the unknown. But a clear mind is decisive. It moves forward even when the path is uphill because it sees the destination. You don't need to have all the answers to move forward. You just need to be clear on your direction. Most people are waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect plan, waiting until everything makes sense. But clarity doesn't mean you know every step. It means you know your next step. And when you take that step, the next one reveals itself. Confidence is built through progress, and progress is impossible without direction. You could have all the energy in the world, but if it's scattered, it won't build anything meaningful. Clarity channels your energy. It gives your actions purpose. It gives your days structure. And when your days have structure, your life begins to build momentum. Confidence grows not because life is perfect, but because you're no longer guessing. You're no longer wandering. You're moving with intention. The world is full of distractions designed to keep you busy but not productive. Social media, endless opinions, trends, and noise. If you don't get clear, the world will assign you a role. It will tell you what to chase, what to value, and what to fear. But when you are clear, you don't follow the noise. You follow your calling. You don't chase shiny things. You pursue meaningful things. You don't get pulled in every direction. You build in one direction, and you build deeply. Clarity simplifies life. It strips away the unnecessary. It reveals what truly matters. You stop trying to do everything, and you start doing the right things. You stop worrying about missing out, and you start focusing on what you're building. And that focus creates power. When you focus on one thing long enough, you become effective. You gain skill. You make progress. And every small win builds belief. Every bit of belief builds confidence. You were not made to drift through life. You were made to build, but you can't build what you haven't designed. You can't build what you haven't imagined. And you can't build what you're not clear about. Clarity is the blueprint. It's the compass. Without it, even effort becomes exhausting. Even work becomes discouraging. But with it, even difficulty becomes meaningful. Even obstacles become part of the plan because you know why you're fighting. You know what you're moving toward. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the presence of direction. When you know where you're going, fear loses its power. When you're clear about your purpose, the opinions of others no longer control you. When your vision is clear, your path doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be yours. And when it is, you stop trying to fit in and you start standing out, not because you tried to be different, but because you finally became focused. Your environment is not just where you live, it's who you surround yourself with. The people in your life act like mirrors. They reflect your values, your habits, your standards. Whether you realize it or not, the people closest to you are influencing how you think, how you speak, how you act, and ultimately who you become. If you surround yourself with people who settle for less, you'll eventually start making excuses for why you're settling too. If you spend your time with people who complain, who gossip, who avoid responsibility, that mindset will slowly become yours, no matter how strong you think you are. Association is powerful because it's subtle. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't demand change from you. It makes change feel natural. If everyone around you cuts corners, you'll start believing shortcuts are acceptable. If everyone around you avoids growth, avoids challenges, avoids discipline, you'll start seeing growth as unnecessary. That's why you can't afford to be casual about the people you allow into your space. You can't be passive about your circle. Because while you may have goals, dreams, and ambitions, the wrong associations can drain your energy, dull your fire, and distract your focus. If you want to rise, you need to spend time with people who are already living at the level you aspire to reach. People who challenge you to think bigger, act better, and become more. People who don't allow you to stay the same. People who don't let you shrink just to make them comfortable. You need to be around others who remind you of your standards, not your excuses. Who remind you of your discipline, not your distractions. Your future depends on who you choose to give your attention to. Many people try to upgrade their life without upgrading their circle, and that's a losing strategy. Because every time you grow, you create distance from the people who refuse to grow. And that distance either gets bridged by their willingness to rise, or it becomes the reason you have to separate. This is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. You don't cut people off because you think you're better. You step back because you're going somewhere they aren't willing to go. And you can't take everyone with you. Not everyone wants to grow. Not everyone wants to sacrifice. Not everyone wants to become more. And if you're not careful, their comfort will become your ceiling. Energy is contagious. So is laziness. So is doubt. So is fear. If you're constantly around people who talk about problems but never act on solutions, you'll start thinking problems are permanent. If you're surrounded by people who mock discipline, who laugh at dreams, who treat success like luck, you'll begin to lower your standards to fit in. And slowly, without realizing it, you'll become a version of yourself that's easier for others to accept, but harder for you to respect. You need to evaluate your circle like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Who celebrates your wins? Who challenges your thinking? Who encourages your growth? Who holds you accountable when you drift? These questions are not just about relationships. They're about results, because your environment either fuels your vision or fogs it. It either pushes you forward or pulls you back. And the difference between success and stagnation is often found in who you allow to speak into your life. Your friends should not be your escape from growth. They should be your evidence that growth is possible. They should stretch you, not with judgment, but with inspiration. They should model consistency, not perfection, but integrity. You want to be around people who are not just talking about their goals, they're living them. People who aren't just planning, they're producing. People who show you, through their example, what is possible when discipline meets direction. It's easy to stay comfortable when everyone around you is playing it safe. But comfort is a slow death when it keeps you from your calling. The voices around you eventually become the voice inside you. If you're always around people who tell you to rest, to relax, to take it easy, then eventually your inner voice will say the same. But if you're around people who remind you of your potential, who speak life into your goals, who refuse to let you quit, then your inner voice will become one of power, not permission. This is why association matters more than talent. You can be incredibly gifted, but if your circle is filled with negativity, you'll never unleash your full potential. Because association affects mindset. Mindset affects behavior. Behavior affects habits, and habits shape destiny. What begins as influence becomes identity. You become who you're around, not by force, but by default. If you walk with the wise, you'll become wise. If you walk with the committed, you'll become consistent. And if you walk with the disciplined, you'll develop habits that change the life as a garden, and every choice you make is a seed planted into the soil of your future. Some seeds grow quickly, others take years to bear fruit. Some produce beauty, others bring weeds. But every decision matters. Nothing is neutral. Even the small decisions, the quiet choices, the invisible habits, they all take root, and over time, they begin to shape the environment you live in. You are not just experiencing your life. You are cultivating it moment by moment with every yes and every no. Most people think of decisions in terms of immediate results. If I do this, what happens now? If I choose this path, what do I get today? But the wise understand that decisions are rarely about what they give you in the moment. They're about what they produce over time. When you eat healthy today, nothing much changes. You don't wake up the next morning with a transformed body. But if you do it daily, if you water that seed with consistency and protect it with discipline, you'll eventually harvest strength, vitality, and energy. The same applies to your finances, your mindset, your relationships, your goals. The results are delayed, but they are certain. If the seed is right and the care is consistent. Your habits are seeds. Your words are seeds. The way you treat people, the way you treat yourself, what you tolerate, what you pursue, what you ignore, all of it is planting something. And you can't escape the harvest. You don't get to plant laziness and harvest success. You don't get to plant indecision and reap progress. You don't get to plant distraction and harvest focus. The universe is precise. It returns exactly what you sow, multiplied by time and nurtured by repetition. This isn't punishment. It's principle. Most people want to change their life, but they're not willing to change their decisions. They keep planting the same seeds and get frustrated when they keep harvesting the same results. They blame circumstances, people, luck, even fate. But the truth is, if you want a different future, you have to plant different seeds. That means making better decisions, not just once, but consistently. That means choosing growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, responsibility over excuse, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient. It's not just the big decisions that matter. Yes, choosing a career, a partner, a major move, those are significant, but often it's the small, repeated choices that shape the largest parts of your life. Choosing to read instead of scroll, choosing to wake up early instead of hitting snooze, choosing to invest instead of spend, choosing to listen instead of argue. These tiny decisions may seem meaningless in the moment, but like drops of water, they gather strength over time. And one day, they become a river that moves your entire life in a new direction. The danger is not in making one poor decision. Everyone stumbles. The danger is in repeating poor decisions until they become patterns. And once something becomes a pattern, it becomes a path. And once it becomes a path, it becomes your life. That's why awareness is critical. You have to pay attention to what you're planting. You have to examine the seeds you've been sowing. Are they seeds of strength, growth, and discipline? Or are they seeds of regret, compromise, and delay? Every time you choose effort over ease, you're planting a seed of strength. Every time you choose to learn instead of blame, you're planting a seed of wisdom. Every time you follow through, instead of quitting, you're planting a seed of resilience. And those seeds will grow, not always quickly, but always surely. You'll wake up one day, look around, and realize your life is bearing the fruit of years of quiet decisions, some wise, some careless. That's the reality of how the future is formed. You must treat your time, your energy, and your attention like sacred soil. Be intentional about what you allow to grow there. Don't let weeds in just because they're familiar. Don't keep watering things that drain you just because you've already spent time on them. Every moment is another opportunity to plant wisely, to choose what feeds your future instead of what feeds your fears, to build a life that reflects your vision, not your distractions. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not waiting for some grand moment to begin. You are planting right now, whether you know it or not. The most dangerous lie you can believe is that your decisions don't matter. That one skipped workout doesn't matter. That one missed opportunity to grow doesn't matter. That one careless spending habit doesn't matter. It does. Because a seed doesn't show its impact immediately. It works silently beneath the surface. And when it finally rises, it reveals what has been growing in secret all along. So take inventory. Look at your habits. Look at your focus. Look at your standards. Ask yourself, what am I planting with this choice? Not what feels good now, but what will grow later. Because the future is not a mystery. It's a garden, and the harvest is coming. Hope is beautiful. It gives people light in the darkest moments. It whispers that things can get better, that change is possible, that the future can be brighter than the past. But hope alone is not enough. Hope without action is fantasy. Hope without discipline is denial. Hope without preparation is a silent excuse dressed as optimism. You can hope all day, every day, but if you're not preparing, you're not progressing. Success does not answer the voice of hope. It answers the call of preparation. Success responds to the person who gets up early to study when no one's watching. It responds to the one who practices when they don't feel like it, who keeps showing up when it's inconvenient, who sharpens their skills when no opportunity is in sight. It's easy to get excited when the stage is set, when the lights are on, when the reward is visible. But success is built long before the world claps. It's built in the quiet, in the unseen, in the repetition. It's built in the hours when no one cares and no one notices. That's what separates those who hope from those who prepare. Most people wait for the big break. They think if the right person sees them, if the right moment appears, if the timing is perfect, then everything will change. But opportunity doesn't come to the one who waits. It comes to the one who's ready. Preparation turns average people into professionals. It turns vision into reality. It turns chances into certainty. And the person who is prepared doesn't need to fear competition, because when others are panicking, the prepared stay calm. When others are overwhelmed, the prepared execute. Preparation is what keeps you grounded when pressure rises. It gives you confidence not because of arrogance, but because you've put in the work. You've trained. You've studied. You've disciplined yourself. You've rehearsed, refined, and reviewed. You don't need to fake it because you've built it. And when the spotlight comes, when the door finally opens, you don't shrink, you shine. Because you didn't wait to get ready. You were already ready. And that readiness is what separates those who survive the moment from those who rise in it. It's not talent alone that creates excellence. Talent without preparation is wasted potential. The world is full of gifted people who never did the work, who relied on charm, natural ability, or shortcuts, and then fell apart when things got hard. But preparation builds something stronger than talent. It builds character. It teaches you patience, consistency, responsibility. It demands sacrifice, and in that sacrifice, it reveals who you really are. It shows whether you want the result or just the feeling. Because real preparation is not glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy. It's often boring, repetitive, and exhausting. But that's where greatness lies. In the repetition no one wants to do. If you're waiting for life to slow down so you can prepare, you're already behind. If you're waiting to feel motivated, to feel ready, to feel inspired, the moment will pass you by, because success doesn't wait for your emotions. It rewards your effort. It answers to the one who prepares regardless of how they feel. The student who reviews notes when their friends are out. The entrepreneur who studies the market when everyone else is asleep. The athlete who trains in the off-season, in the cold, in the rain, when the crowd is gone. That's who wins when the time comes. Not the one who hoped, the one who prepared. Preparation also means anticipation. It means living today with tomorrow in mind. It means asking, what habits do I need now to succeed later? What systems must I build? What skills must I master? What distractions must I eliminate? The future doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the prepared. And the irony is, the more prepared you are, the less luck you need. People will say you were in the right place at the right time. But what they don't see is that you were preparing long before the opportunity ever showed up. You made the sacrifices. You stayed consistent. You stayed focused. That's not luck. That's discipline in action. Hope says things will get better. Preparation says I'm getting better. Hope says I wish things would change. Preparation says I'm changing now. Hope waits. Preparation works. One makes you feel good. The other makes you ready. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you prepare for. And if you prepare deeply enough, thoroughly enough, quietly enough, you become the kind of person success has no choice but to respond to. Because it sees the work, it sees the focus, it sees the resilience. And when that moment arrives, and it always does, the prepared don't hesitate, they perform. Not because of luck, not because of hope, but because they were ready long before anyone was watching. Your future isn't built in a single day, and it doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to clarity discipline, preparation, and consistent action. You must understand that every single day is a brick, and what you choose to do with it is either building the life you want or delaying it. The dreams you carry are not unreachable, but they are conditional. Conditional on your willingness to focus, to sacrifice, to delay gratification, and to surround yourself with people who fuel your purpose rather than distract from it. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control what you do with it. You can choose discipline over excuses, clarity over confusion, and preparation over passivity. Don't just hope for a better future. Build it. Through your daily decisions, your intentional focus, and your unwavering commitment to the person you are becoming, shape a future that is not only successful, but deeply fulfilling. Focus on your future. Not tomorrow, not next year. Right now, in this moment, because that's where the foundation is laid.